Hello, Wayne County High School War Eagle football fans, and welcome to another exciting night of, you guessed it, Paul, Wayne County High School War Eagle football. This is the third season Coach Mangum talks about. We had the non-district, we had the regular, we had our district, and now we got the playoffs. This is the first round, 4 or 5A of the Mississippi High School Activity Association Football Championship playoffs. And we begin that quest here tonight, your War Eagles do, hosting the number 4 seed out of Region 4 5A, the Tigers of Moss Point High School, one of the most tradition-rich programs in the state of Mississippi. And every time the Cats and the Eagles get together, furs and feathers fly, don't they, Paul?
Yeah, they sure do, Marshall. And I mean, it is Moss Point. Now, Wayne County's won the last 4 meetings, including the last 2 in the playoffs. But look back at those in 09, South State Championship, right down in that end zone. Wayne County had to make the big stop, to preserve the win. The next year in 10, first round of the playoffs, it was a dogfight, And, I mean, they're going to be fast, they're going to be athletic, and they're going to be very, very mad because I think they've got a little bad taste in their mouth being the number 4 seed and having to come to Wayne County. But they went 5-5. Things just didn't fall out right for a couple of games. But look for a very, very scrappy, physical, and fast Moss Point team tonight.
You talk about that record. They went 5-5. They lost to a 4A playoff team in Greene County. They lost to a 6A playoff team in Gulfport. They lost to a 1-loss team, the second team from down there, Pearl River Central, and they lost to a 2-loss team that lost to the 1-loss team and the 0-loss team, Picayune. So they've got even though they got 5 losses, they've lost 5 good football teams.
Well, they have, and they're typical Moss Point. You're going to see a number of athletes on the field. It's like Macomb always has athletes, Moss Point always has athletes, and they're going to hit you from a lot of different directions. Defensively, they fly the football very well. Offensively, they do a lot of different things, and I think, like Paul said, they're going to be. They have had those 2 losses up here pointed out to them this week, and one thing that our kids are going to have to do though tonight is keep their heads. And what we don't need is any ejections tonight, and that's been the case almost a time or two. And this game is usually one where there's some penalties involving conduct. So Coach Mangum has talked with our kids a couple of times this week, and hopefully, our kids, they maintain their cool. And if something happens, just get out of the way and let the officials handle the ball game, and hopefully we'll come out of this relatively unscathed.
Kenny made an observation several weeks ago about balance, being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it. I don't know if Moss Point can do what they want to do when they want to do it, but they get about as many yards on the ground as they do in the air, and they got the leading passer and the leading receiver out of that Region 4 down there. Of course, it's a run-happy region, but this guy's thrown 17 touchdowns and I think maybe 6 or 7 interceptions. That ain't bad.
No, it's not. But like Kenny alluded to also, penalties. I mean, in 2010, whenever they came up here, they had like 16 penalties for 150 yards in yardage. I mean, I don't care how well your offense is balanced. I don't care how many yards you get on the ground or through the air. You have that many penalties, I mean, it's going to hurt you. So they're going to have to be very disciplined, and I don't know, hopefully Kenny will back me up on this. They line up in just about every formation imaginable. They're going to throw the option, they're going to throw the counter, they're going to spread you out, they're going to run the zone read, they're going to bring out the kitchen sink and try to throw that in there. I mean, you're going to see a plethora of offensive formations tonight.
Interesting that you said come out of this thing unscathed, Kenny. I believe if we're coming in it scathed up pretty good.
Yeah, well, we are, and now we'll see Hodo play tonight. David will come out and play some. We won't see D. Jarvis. We don't think. Well, we know we won't see Jarvis, and so we're going to be playing, with one hand kind of loosely tied behind their back. But as we saw last week with a freshman quarterback, and Deion Smith did a really good job last week. I thought he had a couple of picks, but he's a freshman. Yeah. And but I thought he did a really good job last week. And the guys that we needed to step up, our offensive line and our running backs, did. And when you see 330 or 40 yards between 2 running backs, then those guys have stepped up and done what they should do. So we need to see that again tonight. Greg Miller, DJ Sims need to have a big night. Defensively, Moss Point always has a tight end. They always have a tight end that can block and catch. And after he catches it, he can run it. And they certainly have one. And so defensively tonight, we've got our head, you know, the old saying, the old cliche, have our heads on a swivel, be looking, because we're going to see, as Paul said, everything from the veer to the, you know, triple option. We're going to see some of all of it in the spread. So, and we're going to see some pretty good athletes too. Their offensive line's big, and you know, they've got one guy in particular, number 71, who is a huge guy.
Well, Moss Point and Wayne County, as Paul says sometimes, it should be interesting, and it won't take long to find out. We're going to take a break and hear from our head coach, Coach Todd Mangum, after this word from some of our sponsors.
When you sit down at Pop's Seafood and Steakhouse, they bring out the homemade coleslaw, hush puppies, and the family recipe cheese sauce for dipping. Everybody already knows that Pop's has the best all-you-can-eat catfish. But have you tried the blackened or regular ribeye? Ooh, there's nothing like it. Come on Saturday, watch college football, eat lunch, or grab an appetizer. Oh yeah, and don't forget to book Pop's for your private parties.
Come join us at Pop's.
And bring your family too.
And here we are with the head coach of the War Eagles, Coach Todd Mangum. Coach, that third season starts tonight. First round playoffs for the Mississippi High School Activity Association football playoffs for a state championship. And it all begins right here tonight.
That's it. That's it. It's always good to be able to play at home. That means you're either a division winner, division runner-up, and we are division winners, and get to host a first round playoff game. It's always good to be able to play at home. We've been on both ends of the stick when we've had to go on the road for the playoffs, and it's always good to be able to open up at home.
I'm reminded of the old movie, Old Mad Max. I liked Old Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome. Had to deal 2 men enter, 1 man leaves, and that's kind of like it is here now. 2 teams enter, but only 1 goes on.
That's it. Everybody's record right now is 0-0 as far as the playoffs, and only the winning records keep going. So, hopefully after tonight we can be 1-0 and be able to play more.
We've talked about balance, and Kenny came up with this observation several weeks ago about balances on offense and being able to do what you want to when you want to. I said I didn't know whether Moss Point's balanced or not, but if you look at their numbers, they're pretty even on the pass and the run.
They are. They're 50-50 either way. And the thing about it is, when people get into the playoffs, they're basically not doing anything new now. Everything now is what they do well, what they finished up the season. So they were able to finish up the season, being able to have a good run pass, ratio, as close to even as they can get. So they are.
What do they do well? What do they do best on offense?
On offense, I guess their run game probably stands out the most. When they do throw the ball, it seems like for big gains. But I guess running the ball, and their backs do a good job of finding a crease and getting in it. And we've got to defend the whole field, even versus the run, because if the ball may start inside and the back bounces it or whatever. So we got to make sure we contain and try to hem them up.
One thing I noticed looking at their stats on here, they got a bunch of different people that carry the ball. Let's look at them defensively. What are they going to do? What's the best thing they do on defense?
Pressure. They're going to line up, and we'll see. We'll see 5-6 man pressure, lock up man, and come get us. And so that poses a problem, but it also creates one for them that if we do what we're supposed to, there's going to be creases and gaps in those blitzing defenses that hopefully we can hit on the run. And anytime you're playing man coverage in the secondary, you're putting pressure that this guy's got to cover this guy man to man. So there's not a lot of room for error right there. So, we want to try to take what they do and hopefully use it against them.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time. We wish you luck. We're going to take a break to hear from some of our sponsors, and we'll be back with the kickoff between the Tigers of Moss Point High School and your Wayne County High School War Eagles. See you after the break.
If you're talking barbecue in Waynesboro, you're talking Huff and Puff Smokehouse Barbecue. Smoked, seasoned barbecue. That looks good. Let Huff and Puff cater your next event. From 20 to 620, we do it all. We can deliver, we can serve. Our delicious barbecue is guaranteed to make any event a hit. Take out or dine in, it's all good at Huff and Puff Smokehouse. For faster service, call ahead.
Okay, football fans, that is Wayne County High School War Eagle football fans. Here we are with the halftime statistics. Fresh off the presses and the sideline, Paul King, no pun intended. Wayne County has 10 first downs. They have 133 yards rushing on 28 carries, 3 for 12 passing with 1 interception. The passing offense has yielded 44 yards, Kenny. They're 0 for 0 on fumbles lost. They've got penalties, 4 for 40. 3 punts, averaging 38.7, 60 return yards. 4 of 9 on third down conversions and 1 of 2 on fourth down conversions. 13 minutes and 44 seconds time of possession. Now, it's interesting to note that the Tigers of Moss Point have 10 minutes and 16 seconds of time of possession. Very rarely has Wayne County really had a time of possession. Never, but we do tonight. Moss Point has 7 first downs as compared to Wayne County's 10. Moss Point is 11 rushes for a -9 yards. So they got -9 yards rushing as compared to 133 yards rushing for Wayne County. They're 8 out of 21 passing with 2 interceptions for 85 yards. So their yardage has come on the ground, even though it's not been not a whole lot to brag about. Wayne County has got 133 and 44, be 177 yards total offense in the first half to about 74 for the Tigers, but the score is 14-7.
And we got 15 yards of that taken off by the bad snap.
Yeah, so we've got tackles. Kentrell Mayfield's got 4. Gary Myers has got 4. Keenan Fuqua's got a pick, so does Keyshawn Cooter with intercepted 2 sacks. Glenn Terrell's got 2, Myers has got 1, and Benito Jones has got 1. Receiving for Wayne County, McLaughlin's got 1. That was the first one we made, Kenny, the 22-yard reception, and Jared Hill's got 2 for 22, and one of those was a touchdown. One was a big third down conversion, one was a touchdown. Passing, Hodo's 3 of 12 with 1 pick and 1 touchdown for 44 yards. Now rushing, Greg Miller's got 82 yards on 16 carries, which is about par for the course for him. And then DJ Sims has got 8 carries for 31 yards. So, you know, Wayne County, really statistically speaking, you would think they might have more points on the board than they do, but it's a 7-point ball game, and Moss Point's going to get the ball to start the second half.
Yeah, we should have. Again, you go back to that penalty that, that personal foul down here around the 23, 24-yard line that gave Moss Point new life. I mean, you just can't do that. Not against this team. Now, second half, it's going to be the defensive. We got to come out, stop them, get a 3 and out, get the ball back, and go put another touchdown on the board.
Well, that's it so far. That's it for us statistically speaking. But the big stat, of course, is 14-7 Wayne County. So we're going to thank Paul Keene for making these possible for us, and we're going to take a break and be back with second half action between the Tigers of Moss Point and your Wayne County High School War Eagles. See you after the break.
If you're talking barbecue in Waynesboro, you're talking Huff and Puff Smokehouse Barbecue. Smoked, seasoned barbecue. That looks good. Let Huff and Puff cater your next event. From 20 to 620, we do it all. We can deliver, we can serve. Our delicious barbecue is guaranteed to make any event a hit. Take out or dine in, it's all good at Huff and Puff Smokehouse. For faster service, call ahead.
Well, here we are. 2 teams entered, 1 team leaves to play another week, and that's your Wayne County High School War Eagles.
We live to play another one. We live to play another one, Marshall. So proud for our players and our coaches because, we didn't want to have any kind of letdowns. We didn't want to come out here and make Moss Point a hero and anything. We wanted to take care of our business, and thought our coaches did a good job getting our players ready to play, and I thought our players went out and, we kind of sputtered a little bit at times, but I thought we came out and played, kind of football that we're supposed to, and take care of our business and live to play another week.
You know, one thing that impressed me, and there's a lot of things to talk about, is the toughness, the physical toughness, the mental toughness of this team. This team's beat up pretty good. Of course, this time of year, people get
If you're talking barbecue in Waynesboro, you're talking Huff and Puff Smokehouse Barbecue. Smoked, seasoned barbecue. That looks good. Let Huff and Puff cater your next event. From 20 to 620, we do it all. We can deliver, we can serve. Our delicious barbecue is guaranteed to make any event a hit. Take out or dine in, it's all good at Huff and Puff Smokehouse. For faster service, call ahead.
Okay. Here we are. This is the wrap-up session here, and
It's always a lot happier wrap-up when we win.
Yeah, this is a happy
10 in a row.
Happy wrap-up session. 10 in a row and more to go. So let's look at this thing here, Paul, and see what it looks like on paper.
Well, we learned during the break, I'm going to steal your thunder, that Pearl River Central.
He says he's going to steal my thunder by saying Pearl, but go ahead.
No, Pearl River Central won, so they will, if my math is correct, they'll be coming here on Friday. But for Wayne County, 20 first downs, 261 yards rushing, 65 passing, 7 penalties, 5 punts, 5 of 12 on third down, 1 of 2 on fourth down. Time of possession, 23 minutes and 46 seconds. As they would say, we were that close to having the time of possession. Greg Miller, 23 carries, 137 yards. DJ Sims, 16 for 54. David Hodo, 6 of 16 passing. Farikas Walker, 3 catches for 21 yards. Jared Hill, 2 for 22. Joseph McLaughlin, 1 for 22. For Moss Point, 13 first downs. And Kenny, you asked me during the break how many tackles for loss. I don't have that, but Moss Point had 23 rushes for minus 16 yards. So they were 23 of 43 passing. What was that Todd told us all week about how they like to run the ball? 3 interceptions, 198 yards passing, 2 fumbles. They lost 1 of them, 10 penalties, 5 punts, 2 of 12 on third down, 1 of 4 on fourth down. Defensively, Kentrell Mayfield, 8 tackles. Gary Myers, 7 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 quarterback pressures, a recovered fumble, and a pass breakup for good measure. Kadarius Pennell, 6 tackles. Hey, excuse me.
You catch your breath, that's fine. Spit that old moth out. You'll get him out of there in a minute.
Yeah. Hey, Shelby, 5 tackles. Glenn Terrell, 2 sacks. Benito Jones, 2 pressures. Interceptions from Keenan Fuqua, Lonnie Bonner, and Keyshawn Cooley.
Statistically, there it is, and and it translates. We had them stat wise in the first half, and we only had a 7-point lead, but it seemed to all come together in the second half.
Well, we should have been up 21-0, and the penalty down here, the personal foul, was big because that's what gave them their touchdown, let them get down the field. But I think we saw a couple of things tonight. One of which is our offensive line did a really good job, and Moss Point blitzed a lot with our linebackers. We ran right where they came from, and left that open space, and that's why Greg Miller had tonight. He did with his carries for 132 yards, whatever, 2 touchdowns. So offensively, we did a lot of good things, and the running backs again for the second week carried our quarterback, and with David Hodo back and still, not even 50% really,